What's going on, everybody? Thanks for tuning in to another update video. Today, I am going to go over my profit trailer and PT feeder, mainly my PT feeder settings that I was using during this mega dump of the crypto market. So I wanted to briefly at the end of this video sort of go over the technical analysis, and by no means am I some expert. I say this a lot and I get some flack in the comments for spreading FUD or whatever the case may be. And I just call it how I see it. And I hope everybody understands that now. And I am not a financial advisor. I am not, there's some people who are certified by the Bitcoin Foundation and whatnot to give Bitcoin advice and stuff. I'm not one of those guys. So I just call it how I see it, how I learn it, and I hope it helps some people. And there's a great community that we've built here who give their thoughts and opinions. So I appreciate all you guys, and we've grown this channel pretty fast, at least in my standards. This feels crazy that we have 1,500 subscribers now, but I'm going to go over this in the end of the video. So if you're interested in just that, just skip through to the end or follow along through to the end. If you're interested in my PT feeder settings, I'm going to go over those in 1 second. But I'm hearing people call the bottom. Here, I'm hearing people calling the bottom at 2,000. So stay tuned for that. So feeder settings. We're on this page because too many of you guys aren't looking at this page. This is the Profit Trailer Wiki. I'm going to link this in the description. So please go and check this out. If you are interested in how the settings work, please go look at this. And the same goes for feeder. If you have feeder, then you can go here and basically what you're going to do is if you want to know something about how PT feeder works, you can go into the pairs offsets and you can go to any of these links here. It'll explain. All you have to do is click here, Control F, and you can do min buy. And it will highlight wherever it says min buy on the page, and it will give you an explanation of what that line of code means. And so I will explain. So PT feeder has a folder in the config folder called app settings. Now we're all familiar with this if we've used PT feeder. Basically, these are my settings that I was using during the downtrend of the market. And we were down -65, -75% at one point. We were down hard. And it is very, very difficult to come out in any sort of profit in that time range, right? I've been running Profit Trailer and PT Feeder for about a month or so, maybe a month and a half. And it's very, very, very difficult to make money when Bitcoin is charging up at, 15% a day. And then it's also very difficult when it's charging down at 30 or 40% a day. Profit Trailer and PT Feeder really thrive in a sideways market. And that is why I'm very excited that we actually had this dip. Yes, I lost USD value in my PT Feeder holdings or my Profit Trailer holdings, right, on Binance that I'm using. But this is very exciting to me because this brings opportunity. Now that we are sitting in this lower area down here, we will most likely see some consolidation. And we have already seen that over the past few hours. We hit this low and now we're sort of consolidating. And this right here, all the way through here, even down into the $6,000 range and up into the $9,000 range, this is where PT Feeder makes you money. And I'm not telling you, I'm not some financial advisor. I'm telling you you're going to make millions off PT Feeder and Profit Trailer. I am just telling you that this is what, if you have your settings done correctly, this is where you're going to make money. So what did I use during this downtrend? And this was one hell of a downtrend, especially over the past week or so, right in here. So I was using EMA spread. I had a buy value at -2, which I increased this in the negative direction I think my buy value before I changed the settings in this bearish market was at -1. So basically this is just where Profit Trailer is going to start looking to trail a coin, a certain coin. So my cost, I had this set to 4%. So this is a percentage of your Bitcoin holdings, how much Profit Trailer is allowed to purchase of your holdings. So I used to have it at about 4% when we were in this sort of range up here. In more of a sideways market, it's okay to allocate more funds to any given trade because that gives you more profit opportunity. And when I saw things go on the downtrend, like when we got up in here and we got this sort of death cross and we're sort of tanking down this direction, what I decided to do is change this. And this is 0.3% for each trade. So I'm not buying a lot of any given coin because basically that reduces my risk. So then I had my DCA enabled. I apologize. I just stuttered there. I changed this to be more negative. And the reason for that is, and guys, I could be wrong on some of these settings and a lot of people could just say, oh, I don't agree with that. And that's fine. This is what I'm here for. And if you guys have better suggestions, please leave them in the comments below because I am not perfect. I'm just giving you guys what I use. And I actually had some decent results over the past few days. So DC enabled, I put at -5 because when I started seeing that this drop wasn't stopping and then we barely moved up here, I decided, okay, looking at the overall trend, and you guys saw me posting the videos about the descending wedge, and I thought the apex of the wedge was pretty far off in this region. So I just assumed, and I'm not a genius, I just assumed it, I could have been wrong, that this was going to continue. And so I put my DCA enabled higher or more negative because I thought that it had a very good possibility of going deeper. And the deeper you buy, the easier it is for you to come out of these situations. So that's what I did. My DCA max buy spread, I increased that to 2. I think I had it at 1 before. And then I increased my DCA max buy times. I think I had it at 4 or 5 before. And I increased it to 6 because if we're going to go into a long bear trend, then I want to buy as many times and cost average my way down so I don't have to have such a big increase on the way up. And that was my reasoning. Let's see. My DCA sell trigger, I increased to 1. I didn't want to be selling for 0.5% gains, especially if we're going to be in a bear market for a while. I'm willing to hold these bags for a while until we get at least a 1% profit because I'm holding these things. I want to be paid for that and rewarded for that in the future. So, let's see. I can skip down here a little bit. Let's see. So, let's see. Min buy balance. I actually changed this a lot. This didn't get changed in these settings. When we hit this dip, my min buy balance was at like 50%, I believe. And I didn't want more than 50% of my coin to be, or of my Bitcoin to be put into altcoins. Basically, this is your percentage of trading funds. And so whether that was right or wrong, my previous settings was at like 7%. I was using all of my Bitcoin, in this region, because I just didn't see a Bitcoin launch coming. So I used all of my Bitcoin. I thought I was going to trade sideways for a while. And I used all of it to buy altcoins during the altcoin run for a while. And when Bitcoin started dropping, I had this set to like 7%. And so all of my money was in altcoins. But the problem was altcoins were bleeding more than Bitcoin was at first. And then Bitcoin started bleeding really hard, and I had changed this to like 50% in Bitcoin. And so my bot was like trying to trade, and it never really got out of some of the trades until we got like, in certain positions where I had DCA'd enough times. But anyway, so this I changed higher to Bitcoin, but it really wouldn't have mattered either way because everything was just tanking. I changed this pretty heavily. So the min buy volume was at like 150 Bitcoin. So I changed this to 500 just because I wanted to only be trading coins that were for sure going to make it through this bear market. Min profit again was at 1. I changed this to 1 day. So 1440 minutes is a day. And that is the candles that it's checking for the longer term trends. And then I left this at 60. Number of pairs. This is another important one. I changed this to 6 from like 15. So that's important. Sell value 1. Top currencies was still checking 17 or 75, but it had to meet all these criteria. So yeah, I mean, like you guys can check this out. A lot of this is just very basic. But I wanted to give an update on what I was doing during this market. And actually in the past couple days, I have been just raking in profit. And I will show you guys tomorrow, my profit trailer homepage. I'm actually on a different computer right now and I am updating the newest versions. So, I don't have that stuff for you right now. So I will do that in the next video and kind of give you guys an idea of how we can make a ton of money, not even make a ton of money, but just be more profitable than you were during this downtick, right? I think Profit Trailer is going to be a really fun tool to be using over the next coming months. Now, real quick, before I close out this video, I've been hearing some people comment that this wasn't where I drew that trend line though. I've been seeing some technical analysis guys calling the bottom of Bitcoin at like, this isn't the bottom. That's what I've been hearing. I've been hearing this frequently. And so I wanted to make a video going over and like, this isn't the chart that I was using before, but it is possible that this was the bullwhip I was referring to. And that we popped out of that wick sharply and we're still on our way to the apex. And so I wanted to give you guys just that thought that this chart isn't necessarily finished playing out. And if you watch one of my older videos, I said, look out for a bullwhip. And this pretty much looks like a bullwhip to me, where a lot of negative selling volume, the volume gets really high, and then we pop right back inside this descending wedge. So it's possible that we are gonna just kind of play in here for a while until, you know, the 19th or 20th range. The apex is actually at like the 24th of February. So I'm not expecting a big bump until like the 20th, 24th. But this does seem pretty early to be bouncing way up or bouncing way down. Like this just seems like we're going to be in this sort of zone for a little while longer. And so I'm going to keep my eye on it. I'm definitely keeping my eye on these moving averages here. The volume, I'm definitely keeping an eye on the volume, and I'm still looking at this descending wedge. Maybe people think I'm crazy, but I don't know. I mean, it's still sort of playing out, and a bullwhip tends to look like this in a lot of cases. So if you like this video, go ahead and give it a comment. Let me know what you guys' thoughts are, and then subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content like this. As always, the links are in the description, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.